Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm talking about the pre-shot routine, but more importantly I'm talking about the time that you take in your pre-shot routine and how that can make a massive difference to the score on your scorecard. Today I'm talking about time. Today I'm talking about the time that you take to hit a golf ball. One of the main causes of poor shots is poor thoughts. And one of the main causes of poor thoughts is the time that we allow ourselves to hit a golf ball. Unfortunately, golf is not a game where you are required to react. You are far more required to take your time, to think about every particular conundrum, everything that could go right, everything that could go wrong, in order not to make a mistake. And sometimes that itself is the mistake. So what I think you ought to be doing over the winter period is changing your pre-shot routine to allow you no time to think. Now, I think a lot of you have heard of the book Vision 54. That was a good starting point for how you should approach a pre-shot routine. They talk in the book about a think box and a play box, basically separating the thought part of the pre-shot routine and the actual hitting part of the pre-shot routine. And what you're going to need in order to carry that out is basically an understanding of what you should be thinking about before you hit the shot, what's going to help you and what isn't. And quite honestly, we can cut it down to very few thoughts. Really, what do you need to know? You ought to know how far is the ball away from the target. That would be beneficial, but you could probably find that out on the way to the golf ball. And whether you're a meter or 2 meters too long or too short probably won't make any difference whatsoever. Then you've got to know which club you hit that distance. Do you want to hit it the complete distance? Do you want to land it shorter than that distance? Or do you want to land it further than that distance? And what is the likelihood of you doing that? These are things that you should have found out on the driving range. So the club choice should be simple. What can influence the club choice? The lie of the ball, eventually the grass around it, if you're on a hanging lie, the wind and the weather. Maybe you want to consider the club choice because the way that the architect has set up the shot or the hole. These are all very important points that you should do, but these are things that you should know before you get to the golf ball. And I believe that a lot of players spend a lot of time basically confirming decisions that they'd already made. And this costs them time, and it gives your conscious mind far too much power in the decision-making process. So it should be a pretty quick thing once you get to the golf ball to decide, I'm gonna take this club, I'm gonna hit it there, and then you should get in there and do it. Now, I know that a lot of you want to be making practice swings before you hit the golf ball. If you're gonna do that, do it in the think box. Do it in this time that you've allowed yourself to actually think about the shot you're going to make. Now, there are situations like hanging lies, long grass, short grass, where it might be advisable to make a practice swing, but believe you me, really it is not helping you as much as you think. Even in a short putt, making a couple of practice swings before won't help you. If you think about a footballer, he's not going to wave his foot a couple of times to see whether his leg's still working before he actually kicks the golf ball or the football. And there's a reason for that. He hasn't got time. And that's one of the strange things. If you look at a footballer, apparently there was studies done in Sweden where they found that 75% of their professional footballers were better when they were kicking a ball that was moving than the ball that was sat still. So that means that really the only difference there is that they've got no time to think when the ball is moving. When it's sat still, then they might also come up with the idea it might be a good idea to swing the foot a couple of times backwards and forwards, and that will make them actually kick it better. One of the most difficult things that you can do in sport is kick a ball that's not moving, or in our case, to hit a ball that's not moving, because it gives you far too much time to think about it. So take a clue from the footballers and stop thinking too much about the swing, stop making as many practice swings, and try and convince yourself this winter that you really don't need them. That all of these extra thought requirements and practice swings are just a way of you getting enough confidence to actually hit the ball, and that if you didn't do all that, you'll probably hit it better. So how do you get from thinking about it to playing or hitting the shot? Well, you need something to keep your conscious mind busy. And usually a golf professional will have a visualization, a feeling, even a sound which help them to do that. They will be waiting for the impact of the ball. They have a kind of a feeling in their tummy how it's going to be when they make a decent swing. But in the majority of cases, they have a picture of a ball flight or the target that they're aiming at, and they keep that picture in their mind's eye while they're hitting the shot. So if you think about that, once I've actually finished making my decision-making process, I then want this picture, this feeling, this sound, whatever it may be, and then I go to the golf ball. And that's when it really gets to the business part, because that's where you've got to understand that your conscious mind is not going to give you loads of time to do this. On the contrary, after just a few seconds, your conscious mind is going to come back and remind you about something. It might be the out of bounds right, it might be the water hazard left, it might be that you should be leaving your head down or turning your hips. And that is going to ruin your golf swing. So you want to get that out of your mind. So when you're making these shots, I want you to basically get up to the ball and practice how quickly can I hit the ball. I believe that the girls from the Swedish team who actually basically put this system together were taking around about 8 seconds from the moment they left the think box to hitting the golf ball. And that's probably a very good and sensible amount of time to take. Too much longer and your conscious mind is going to get involved in the shot. Too much shorter and it's going to get a little bit too hectic. You're not going to have a chance to really set up to the golf ball correctly. Maybe the last tip today is work on the pre-shot routine, and as far as how do you get from the think box to the ball. Are you going to grip the club first and align it? Are you going to get your feet aligned and the ball position? When are you going to take your posture? I believe it would be a good idea, maybe at least once or twice a month, to just practice getting to the golf ball without thinking about it, and then making sure, am I actually standing correctly? Am I standing the way I want to? Is the ball position correct for the club that I have in my hand? So that you can actually stop the conscious mind wanting to control that as well. It really is about banning the conscious mind from anything to do with the shot around the golf ball, and allowing the conscious mind only to have influence about obvious decisions which it is better in a position to make. I hope this is going to help you. As ever, you help the channel a lot if you hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't, and if you've got any mates who haven't subscribed, then send them share the video and see if you can get them on board. It's getting a bit cold out here now, so I won't be back as often as usual over the winter period. I will be back in the new year though. I will have the odd post, so keep your eyes and ears open. The little bell will give you notifications which will tell you when I post the next video. Until then, all the best and goodbye.